But I love myself. That's why I'm doing this, so I can gain confidence. Hello, my name's Bubba. I'm out of practice. So out of practice. Hello, my name's Di. I'm one half of MD Blaylock. My husband Michael and I write books together. And we've got one out that is a rural fantasy about a man who has to go back to his Midwestern hometown to save the friends he left for dead. And the other is a contemporary about two authors in Idaho who hate each other and have to write a book together. Only one of those things did we pull from real life. No, I guess two. Idaho and two authors writing a book together. Because me and Mike actually really like each other. Anyway, that one was for free. So you are here for encouragement, and I apologize, it's been a hot minute. The holidays kind of came and went, and we've had some big life things to figure out and a whole lot of stuff to work through and talk through, and YouTube just kind of took a back seat. So I'm back for good or ill. Anyway, today I want to talk to you guys about empowerment. So me and Mike, our big thing when we write, we want to give our I got a big snag. When we write, we want to give our readers rest, empowerment, and delight. So last time we talked about rest and what that looks like when you actually rest well and come out feeling better. And today we're going to talk about empowerment. But before we can talk about empowerment, we got to talk about its antithesis, which is a fancy $5 word. Sorry, we've been watching a lot of Lemony Snicket, and the urge to say a word which here means, so I apologize, and be thankful I didn't do that. Anyway, anxiety is the antithesis. That word. To empowerment. Because when you're anxious, you don't want to act. You don't feel like you have the power to act, and you just let everything else eat you alive. Tell me I'm wrong. Because I know when I'm anxious about something I'm going to undertake or something that I'm worried about, the last thing I want to do is actually work on that project or that conversation or whatever, because it's scary. And that's valid. Scary things are scary. But when we allow anxiety to rule us, that's not main character energy, my friend. Because if you want to be the main character in your life, you have to have agency. You have to have action. And we all want to be the main characters in our lives, right? Nobody wants to be the side character. Nobody wants to be just the plucky comic relief or, whatever. We want to be the person who makes the decisions, acts on the decisions, and moves forward with our lives, right? I know I do. But there are some times where the decisions or lack thereof hold me back. How about you? Currently, I don't know about you, at least here in the US, life is kind of scary. Politically, economically, the whole bit. It's a little concerning right now. And a little is an understatement. So, to deal with it, what do? What most people do is swipe it under a rug and say, it doesn't exist. I'm not going to deal with it. That's that. I'm married to a therapist. I'm not allowed to do that. But even before that, even before Mike finished his degree and was counseling full time, I went to therapy and I had to learn how to deal with my anxiety. So, and not even just anxiety, even my trauma was debilitating. I wouldn't do things because I was scared of the outcome. So, one thing I was taught was breathing exercises. When my body was stuck in fight or flight, I was taught to stop, you take a big breath in, ideally through your nose, hold it for 3 seconds, let it out for 4. Pull it in, like that. Usually, it's a good idea to do that a few times. If breathing exercises don't really work for you, which when I was in a high fight or flight or fawn type of a moment, breathing exercises only took me so far. So from there, what I would have to do is a grounding exercise. So a grounding exercise means you get both feet on the ground and you firmly feel the ground underneath your feet. Okay, do you feel it right now? And I want you to look around the room and find one thing that's green. So I just found a DVD of Dune. And then find something else that's red. My sweater. And then something else that's orange. Ooh, that's gonna be a lot harder. We don't do orange in our house. There's a book over there. Things like that. So just go through the colors until you feel a little calmer, because there's something about taking your brain out of whatever fight or flight mode you're in and making it focus on something else. That helps ground your body and your brain and your nervous system into a different mode. One other thing, creaky chair. One other thing I was taught to do, and this requires both hands. Well, sort of. It requires a hand, and I don't want to stab myself with a knitting needle. Sewing needle. So what you do, and this is to calm your vagus nerve, which is part of your parasympathetic nervous system. You start by rubbing circles between your eyebrows, right there. Kind of firm, but not so hard that it hurts. And then you go across one eyebrow and just rub till you get to your temple. Rub a few circles that way. And then you go around your ear, rubbing with your thumb and forefinger, all the way down to the lobe. Rub a little bit there. And then you get that little nub right there. And you rub, rub, rub. It's going to sound ridiculous, but I promise it works, because I can feel that down my back. Just kind of, oh. And if you're not calm and you still feel kind of, go again. Switch sides. All the way across. Rub that temple. Rub that ear. Okay? All the way down to the earlobe. Get that little nub. You can do that as many times as you need. That helps. If those strategies don't work for you, you can do what's called progressive muscle relaxation. So what I usually do is I start from the top and work my way down. So I will tense my neck as tense as it'll go, and then release. Then I'll move down to the shoulders and kind of pull those in. And then release. Your arms, forearms, hands, and then you can work down all your muscle groups all the way down to your toes. And what that does is it helps you tune into your body and go, okay, now I can feel everything and I'm okay. That's the big thing with anxiety, is remembering I'm okay, I'm safe. Whatever the scary thing is, it can't get me. And I have what it takes to accomplish X, Y, or Z, whether it's a hard conversation with a loved one, or putting up a boundary, or tackling a new project, or whatever. I have what it takes, and it can't hurt me. And even if it does, I have what it takes to combat it. So empowerment is that feeling of, I've got what it takes. I can do this. It's that point in the story, in like whatever movie or book you're reading, where the main character goes, I have what I need to win the big fight at the end. And I can do this. So what gives you that feeling? It's different for everybody. But I'm very curious. What is it that makes you go, I do have this. I can pull this off. And you guys can just watch me. What is it for you? Because for me, it kind of comes down to practice. Practice comes from lots of hours, lots of effort, and then being able to step back and say, I did that. So like little things like this helps build confidence. I made mittens for my kid. They're kind of goofy looking, but I did it. And I kind of think they're cute. A really big, yay, I did it, happened this week. I finished my first sweater. Now, I would like to point out, it's probably a pretty simple sweater pattern, but I don't care because that was like 2.5 months worth of work. You guys saw me casting on the collar in the last video. The collar, that was as far as I got. And now we're done. It was hard. It took a lot of consistent work. There were a couple of spots that I kind of messed up, but nobody's gonna see except me because I'm a nitpicky little fart. But I did it. And honestly, the funny thing that really gave me a lot of confidence with that project was that I tackled it when the person who taught me to knit told me she was not interested in doing a sweater because it scared her. To me, that was like, okay, challenge accepted. I'm gonna do it. Because I'd already done a few hats. I'd done some scarves. I'd done some small projects here and there. I did socks. And to me, socks were way harder than that. So it felt really good to finish this just this week. I just blocked it today and it's done. I can wear it now. I can wear a project that took me 2.5 months. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of hard work that comes with it, but I did it all by myself. Nobody, like I watched a couple of YouTube tutorials on like pitfalls to avoid, things like that. But that's also part of empowerment, is just figuring out where you could fail and saying, okay, I see where I could and I have the know-how to keep going. Does that make sense? And I'm doing the same thing with writing because I feel like I'm supposed to be working solo right now in prep for something. I don't know yet what. But the hope is to get to a point where I'm caught up with where Michael is. And some of it's natural talent for both of us, but a good hunk of it is just practice, 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 practice. And you have to keep going. So I have to keep showing up for myself, and I have to keep putting in the hours to keep writing, even though I'm probably not going to publish. Well, I might publish the one I'm working on. It's about a farmer who gets a drunk tattoo of a turnip. And it's stupid as crap. But it's mine, and I'm having fun, and it's teaching me how to write because you don't. The only way to learn how to write is to do it. You can read all the craft books, all the, Stephen King's on writing and blah, 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 but nothing teaches you like doing. Nothing at all. I mean, you can learn theory until you're blue in the face. But until you've actually sat down and done whatever thing is that you're trying to accomplish, you'll never get there. Um, Erwin McManus is a brilliant pastor, and I highly recommend you check him out. He has a whole bunch of books, and we really like him. And he's a really deep thinker. And he had a quote recently. It went, "The cure to anxiety is action." So whatever it is that's holding you back, that's telling you you can't do this, dude, pull the plug, do it. Just jump in. Even if you suck, jump in, do it. Because then you are reteaching your brain, I do have this. I've got what it takes. I can do this thing and I will get better. All it takes is that first jump. And I know that first step is so scary. Like, when I decided to start writing on my own, or when I started giving Mike my ideas to put into our books, I was terrified. I thought, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. He's been doing this for 20 years. I'm new. But everybody starts somewhere. And if I can do it, what can you do? Dude, you can kick all the butt. Imagine what you can do if you stop letting anxiety tell you what not to do. So as always, you got this, we got this, and I love you guys. You've got what it takes.